Good evening, everyone, and welcome. I am the Diva D. I am here representing one half of Diversity and Equity in Education. My co-host, our SEC president, is under the weather today, and I understand how that feels because I was under the weather before a couple weeks ago. But thank you so much for joining us this evening, and we're just going to dive right in. So what's been going on, people, good people, where our show now has been moved. We moved because of it, also because of testing and school and just so many other things that we're obligations that we have made commitments to. We're going to move our show to the third week of the month, which is today, and going forward, this is going to be our spring schedule. So I'm so glad that you're here to join us to talk to me. How you doing, everybody? Just drop on in, say hi, welcome, all that good stuff like that. So let's talk about what's been going on. First of all, as our show indicates, about the community and about the school and about what's going on. So first, let's talk about things like um, the sustained shootings that we're seeing happening all around town. I mean, we need to be able to come together as a community. I know part of the problem is the culture we have called it the snitch culture, that we don't want to say what's going on. But these things affect innocent people, innocent children, innocent lives. So it's really important that we really just try to come together. And if we know somebody that's just not doing right, just talk to them first, because we all have issues. I mean, there's everybody has a spectrum of how they feel about dealing with the police, but it's important to keep our community safe. And we want to keep our elderly safe, especially. That's where our wisdom is. And if we lose our wisdom, we're going to lose a lot more than just the neighborhood and the community, but we lose our lives. And we really just don't want that to be a big impact on us. But all that, of course, goes back to tying back into education, because we know that without a decent education, without some kind of stable foundation, without some kind of base from which we can knowledge can flow, not going to be able to do the best that we can in terms of bettering ourselves as a society. Now, keep it in mind, with all of that, you have the added pressures of just being who you are, the pressure of just being Black in America. That right there is alone is the saddest thing ever. And imagine how it is for teachers, as a teacher, to walk into a classroom and to have to explain to a child. We're going to go back just even 1 year, to explain to a child that, why is it that people don't want me here in this country? Why is it that people don't like where I'm from? Why is it that they just trying to kill us? And it's so difficult to answer those questions to children, especially when you yourself don't have the answer. We just don't have the answer. So how can we all collectively come together to fix this problem? That's one of the major issues that we have going on right now. So let's lead it into that. Let's talk about how we know that this is a problem. This is called the school to prison pipeline. That's the overarching terminology. And if you don't want to believe it, that's fine. But you can Google it. You can go through all the different organizations, ACLU, and all the information you need to find out. This is a real and traumatic thing. And let me tell you how it affects us right here in Hillsborough County. So Hillsborough County leads our state in the school to prison pipeline. Now, you don't want to believe me, that's fine. But what I want to do is give you some statistics, okay? Because I like to do things in black and white. So let me go from here. And here's what I want to tell you about. Now, you've heard of things like ISS, which is in school suspension, OSS, out of school suspension. Then you have something called the EPIC program. This is a program where, the kids have just violated more than they need to. They can be handled in school. They go to EPIC, where they will then take classes or still continue their education, but they're removed from the school environment. Now, when a child gets removed from a school environment, whether it's 1 day, 2 days, 10 days, they're losing their education, because we know that the quality of education that they're getting in school is then removed from them. So you're losing time. They might be in there with other kids who are either in the same element as them or not. So just to give you some statistics behind it. So we've got a report we met earlier last week. And the report stated that as of April 7th, so what's today? Today is the 18th, I believe it is. So as of April 7th, this is the total number of kids who are in EPIC. Okay. So it's 195. 195 students are out of school in this particular program. So now let's break down the numbers. That's the total. That's all the kids. Okay. Now, of that 195, 8 of them are multiracial. 1 is Asian. 43 are Hispanic. 30 are white. and 113 are Black. Let me pause so you could process that. How many again are Black? 113. If you don't see the correlation between what's happening in the school and what's happening in the jails, you're really blind to it. So now what can be done at this point in time? What can actually be done? Well, first of all, we need to figure out why this is happening. And this is happening due to systemic racism. It's also happening as a part of the fact that we don't have any diversity training. We don't have a cultural bias training. We just don't have that in schools. And so our children are being targeted as troublemakers, as, just any little behavior that they have is considered just disrespectful, which is a term I think that has been removed, of course, now from the referrals now. So we don't know how to have a category to say the child is disrespectful or mismanaged behavior, whatever like that. But it's a growing thing, which it should not be. We need to make sure that we bring it down, not bring it up. So I'd love to hear from all of you as to your opinions as to that. But just tell me what you think or what could happen. But here is the issue that we have. Now that we're slicing and dicing jobs and we're cutting away deeply, I mean, like blood red bleeding, dollars from the Hillsborough County as well as individuals, we're losing. Do you see what further deficits we're going to have as we continue on? Because our kids are not going to get the help that they need if you're removing people. And then, of course, it leads us to packed classrooms. We already had issues with packed classrooms, but we're going to have it even more. Now, the grand solution, it seems that some people have brought forward is the charter school. Okay, we have some for and some against it, and that's okay. You have to, as a parent, make the best and most wisest decisions for your children. You have to do what's best for them. However, my recommendation to parents is that really you want to pay attention and keep a close track of what the children are learning, what's going on in the school, and make sure that it's the right fit for them. Because you don't want to put your children in an environment, especially if their schools are far away, and put them in an environment where they feel unwelcome, unsafe, or just unhappy. Because we all want what's best for our children, which leads us down the road back to testing. Okay, so now we're gonna test our kids. Just one thing I want to remind you all is just keep the kids engaged. I know that when we start testing them, it's going to be early in May. The problem is, there's no really end of course exams. So there's going to be this window of space that they have after testing where they think it's over. Well, this is where we as teachers face those behavioral challenges, because now you've got kids who testing is over and I feel like I can do whatever I want. We need to engage our kids more than ever, to try to give them things beyond school. So we're going to continue to teach them, but beyond school, what are they doing? And then that, of course, leads us to the big thing, which is going to be summer. What's going to happen for the summertime? Have you made a plan for your children for the summer? Do you know what they're going to get into? Do you know who they're going to be around? Because what we've noticed is the gap in educational loss, it's even greater. It's like the kids fall into a black hole and they just are done in the summertime. Because two of the things the kids keep on asking for when we do incentives in class, a lot of the things the kids will ask for is game cards, game this, game that, game the other, Roblox and cards for Fortnite, things like that. I saw a post the other day that Fortnite and Roblox and things like that is making 8-year-old kids commit fraud early in life. Yes, because they want to get your credit card. But if that's the only thing that's consuming their time, that's a bad thing. It's like when people think, oh, my child can read. What your child has learned to do is memorize incredibly well. And they can pretty much figure their way around certain things, but they have to practice reading. I cannot stress that enough. I can't stress it enough, because you're talking about the summertime when they're really not in front of a teacher. How are they're maintaining what they've learned throughout the year? Because you can lose that incredibly quick. So I just want to just pop in there and just tell you a little bit about that. So, and I wish I could see, unfortunately, I cannot see comments, which would be great if I could, but I could not see that on the way. But that's all right, because I'm still going. So anyway, other thing I wanted to mention to you was look at the state of our country right now. It's so unsafe for us as people of color to just exist, and it's so sad because we bring so much to the table. People of all cultures bring so much to the table. I mean, I have, like I said, I have never been to like actually a doctor, I think, that has been a white doctor, I think. Unless I mean, for some unique specialty, but usually those specialties come from other races. So sometimes I just find it so hard to fathom that people are so mean and so evil. But at the same time, that's what's running around our earth right now. So I don't know. I just need for us to come together as a people and just do a little bit better. Okay, hang on. I do not want to. All right. Hey, it's just me and B today. This Bianca. And matter of fact, let me just give a quick shout out to Teaching for the Culture, Bianca Gooseby, who's hosting us this evening. And I just want to say I appreciate her so much. She's just the best. As well as I will say this. Check out our page, Diversity and Equity in Education, as well as the Sunshine Education Coalition, our page here on Facebook, as well as sunshineeducationcoalition.org, which is our website. You can learn more about the school to prison pipeline. Now, I want to also encourage you all, please go to, or if you can, just keep abreast of the school board meetings. I want to give a quick shout out. Jessica Vaughn did a great breakdown this morning of a lot of things that they were discussing, things that were happening with schools, the cuts, the superintendent, just everything like that. And you really want to stay up with it, because remember, our school is what drives our community. And without, unless we have kids in the community that are coming out, we pumping out kids that are educated out of this school system, things are not just going to go that well. Okay. All right. So then finally, what I mean, because I won't be out here too long, because I really miss my co-host, and I hope that she's definitely feeling better. But what I will say is this: it's with a heavy heart. This evening we found out one of our own educators at our school has passed. So this is going to be a very tough time for us. I think it's going to be very tough for the children. And henceforth, this is a classic example of why we need to have more resources and not less. We have, as a person who was here and dealt with children on a daily basis and is no longer with us. So it's really important that we hold on to our children. We hold on to the people that we care about. We tell them that we love them all the time. We spend a lot of quality time talking to the people that we care about, because it's very difficult, especially when you're close to people. So what I will say, any of the kids who do attend my school, or kids that of, you're going to find out later on, but it's very important that we hold on to each other. So whew, okay, that's really all I wanted to say. I don't really want to add a whole lot, because I really want to get back with April when she does feel better, and then we can go a little bit more into detail about what's happening in our community. What I will tell you is just stay abreast of our information that we keep putting out there. I want to give a quick shout out to Walter L. Smith, because this morning we did a radio show on his show, and we talked about the school to prison pipeline. We also spoke about the deficits in education. I also want to give a quick shout out as well to In Touch Radio. Those ladies, they're awesome. We spoke with them on Thursday, and we also brought with them some statistics and numbers. And our biggest thing that we want to share with you all is just more information. It's really important that you know what's going on. I mean, there's no button on the website, the Hillsborough County website, to say, okay, this is what's happening with our youth, but this is what's happening with our youth. And don't be afraid to be an advocate for your child. Do not be afraid to speak out for your child. Your child, this is your child. And it doesn't matter if the child is perceived a particular way. Communication helps greatly. If we all work together to communicate and talk with each other, there's really not too many gaps that we can't close, or too many bridges that we can't cross, if we don't constantly communicate. That's our biggest issue, is that we don't communicate with each other. So many problems and issues in the world can be solved with communication. So having said all that, I wish you a wonderful evening. I am grateful that you allow me to spend a little time with you this evening. My name is Denise. Denise Thomas, the Diva D from Carved Out Divas. And I want to give a shout out to Bianca Goolsby, our host of Teaching for the Culture, and a special get well message for April Cobb, because I know that she's going to feel better soon. Y'all have a wonderful evening. Good night and God bless.